Hello, it's Alpida, and welcome to Feng Shui Friday. I'm going to actually turn the light on because it's a little dark in here. Okay, so let's delete this. I got to get rid of this pin post here. Let's see where my comments are. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if you are not feeling supported, there could be some things in your helpful people and travel. So this is a dual area that may be preventing that. Okay. So the helpful people area is if you are standing at the doorway of your bedroom or your home, or if you're looking at your property, the doorway is at the end of your driveway. So you are like the street is behind you and your property is in front of you. Your driveway is in front of you. That's how you direct, like how you align the Bagua, which is the energy map. Okay. I'm hoping by now most of you have seen that. I'll put a picture below when I'm done. But you are looking into the property, you are looking into the house, you are looking into your bedroom, you are looking into your home office or office. You can do this in a residential space as well. You can do this in your car. You could do this with your purse. You can do this with your desk. You can do this with your vision board. I've actually made, a long time ago, I made a vision board that I just broke it up into 9 areas and, put things in the different areas that reflected that area of life according to the Feng Shui Bagua, right? So there's many places that you can overlay this. Okay, I actually have my prosperity altar, which I showed you guys a while ago right there, that has some Feng Shui going on as far as, one, it's my prosperity corner and my money bowls over there, but also like there are certain things that are placed for according to the Feng Shui Bagua. Okay, so the Feng Shui Bagua can be overlaid over so many things. Okay, so that's number one. Let's get that clear. The other thing is this area in some people's homes could be your garage. And this is a lot of like, I should have talked about this when we talked about the self, because that area as well, the other side, the left side of, so helpful people is the right side. So wherever your front door is, or the door, the wall where the door is, self is on the left side, helpful people's on the right side. So it's not on the same side as the prosperity corner. Okay. It's on the other side. It's actually diagonal. Okay. And a lot of times when I do a Feng Shui consultation, every heart's desire, because that's what we call it, or wish that you are looking to manifest, we that's the wrong word. We address 3 areas, 3 connected areas. So if I was working with a client about their business, I would probably, it depends upon the situation. So every situation's different. I might do career, prosperity, helpful people. Why helpful people? So this is where we go. Helpful people is your community. Okay. For a business, that's your clients. That's your social media audience. That's your target market. That's your, referrals, your collaborators, your colleagues, your, it's your community. Okay. So another word for helpful people is community. Personally, that's your friends, your acquaintances, right? It's not your family, right? Family is family of origin. That's your generation and before. And then at some point we'll get to children and creativity. And obviously that's your creations and your actual physical biological children, if you have some. And then of course, relationship is in the back corner over here. Okay. So, cause my helpful people area, I'm actually in my helpful people area. Well, my phone is, I'm kind of on the border of helpful people and, children and creativity. So, and this area also is aligned with travel. So many years ago, I had a client who wanted to be a speaker and she wanted to travel around the world speaking about, the things that she was passionate about, the things in her business. And so what we did was I said, well, a good thing that you could do is you could put a globe there and put like gold stars or like X's or push pins on the places that you want to go. And she's like, well, where is that area? And we're looking at her home office, and it turns out she already had a globe there. Okay. So this is one of the things that like has been a theme for me, I guess, for a long time. I just came onto it this year is I'm already doing it. Okay. But I used to say that most people, when I do a feng shui consultation and I'm like, oh, you need a rectangular mirror, or you need a painting with this in it, or something along that line. And they're like, oh, I have that. So feng shui is not about going and buying a whole bunch of stuff. It's not about like redecorating your entire home and everything is garbage or whatever. It's not about the feng shui is bad, you know, we must move, because that's rarely ever true unless you're like in a swamp or toxic waste dump or anything like that. It is about aligning with the energy that you already have. What is that energy telling you? What is your home telling you? And what do you need to shift? Okay. So helpful people is community, and it's also travel. Okay. So, and again, what's the difference is that your intention, when you place things there, you are going to set an intention. We don't just put it there, set it and forget it. We set an intention. Okay. And I can turn my camera around. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to show you my helpful people area. So this is my desk. This is where my phone was, right here. These are so cute. It's literally like 5 pieces that you put it together. Anyway, I just love this thing. It's usually on my nightstand. So that's my laptop, my morning coffee right there. And this is my helpful people area. So you can see this is made jewelry that's in here. I got my witch hat here. I've got some tarot bags. I've got projects that I'm working on. This is some jewelry that needs polishing. I've got my bead boards here. I've got, you know, stuff. I've got my pliers and pens, etc. Over there are my beads. You see all my, like, yeah, I have a lot. And I have a lot down there too. So, right, and there's my little trash can and all that stuff, and my cords and stuff. And then, so this is my helpful people area, right? So my business, right, my jewelry part of my business, and also this is where I sit when I do a consultation. A lot of times when I do a tarot reading, I'm doing it on here. Sometimes I'm doing it on the bed. And the reason I'm showing this to you is like, you don't have to like tear everything down, right? So this is fine the way that it is. The only thing that I wanted to point out is, I don't know if you can see, there we go. So I bought this painting on eBay. It's set of 4. And of course I can't find the other 3, but I bought it because I put it up here because I wanted this is figure here. I see this as myself, and all these women have my back, right? And that's not what I'm feeling. I do feel like there are people that have my back, but I don't know who they are. So this painting here doesn't feel in alignment for me anymore. I feel like I'm constantly walking away from people because it doesn't feel aligned. I feel like I do have people that have my back, but I don't know who the fuck they are. They usually pop up when I'm just like, you know, whatever. When I'm like, I need help. And then I do feel supported. Don't get me wrong. But I don't like the fact that she has her back. And I don't know why the artist painted it like this, but that's her prerogative. And I bought this like literally like maybe 15, 20 years ago. And I do love it. But it used to be, it used to be out in the hall. And then I moved it here when I redid my room. And right now it just doesn't feel in alignment. So I'm going to turn this around. So Feng Shui is, I mean, obviously I practice what's called the form school. So the form school, or the BTS, Black Hat Tibetan School of Feng Shui, which was created by the late Professor Ling Yang, the stuff doesn't move. Your prosperity corner is always your prosperity corner. In the compass school, it moves. It's, you know, it's based upon the directions, things move, like there's all this stuff. I don't do that. That's not the school of Feng Shui that I went to, because at the time I didn't even know that there were 2 schools of Feng Shui. And I like things simple. I don't like the whole complicated. So if this feels weird to you, then maybe you're familiar with the compass school. And there's nothing wrong. You get to pick which one you want. I like things to be where they are. I don't change my feng shui placements or the cures I don't change. So a cure is when, so this is another thing that might be going on in your helpful people and travel, is you might have a missing corner. So if your house isn't rectangular or square and you've got a piece there that's missing because that's just the way that the property was designed, that's something that we need to cure. Okay, and there's specific cures depending upon your situation. You might also have what's called a projection, and a projection is the opposite, where you have this extra piece, right? And then that means certain things, and we do certain things for that too, as well. That's a cure. A placement is when we're putting something there to reflect what we want in our life. It's kind of like a one item or multi-item. It could be multi-items. In the case of relationship, usually we put a pair of things, right? And we're talking about like marriage relationship. And we will get to relationship at some point. So that painting is a placement. I placed it there so that I had community, that I had people who had my back. And again, I'm noticing that it's not, like, it really bothers me that she's got her back to the community, right? And I'm seeing that, okay? I'm seeing both. I'm seeing what I'm creating, which is being part of community and having people that have my back and having friends. And also like really kind of weeding out people that don't feel supportive and they're not the same vibe and have the same values. So I am seeing that this placement is working. However, I'd like her to be facing towards the people. I want to be part of the circle. I want to be sitting at that table, right? So this is where like I'm noticing that I need to put something different there. Okay. So that's what we do with feng shui. If it's not broke, you don't fix it. Okay, but if you're noticing that in that area of your life, and it doesn't have to be helpful people and travel, it could be any area of your life. If you are noticing that what you are manifesting, what you are living, what you are experiencing is not what you want to be living and experiencing and manifesting, this is where we would use feng shui in order to shift that. Okay. And of course, like there's a little bit of clutter, right? Like this stuff fell over. So that's why it's been kind of piled up and I haven't fixed it. But usually I try to keep most of my spaces nice and tidy. Right now I'm working on some sewing projects. I have a friend and a client that I'm making a Mad Hatter hat. Oh my God, I should have brought it in here because it's like, I made a prototype from this fabric that I used to make chair covers. And it is just like, oh my God, it's so cute. Yeah, I'm just trying to determine the height and all that stuff. So, my kitchen table and my chairs are, covered with stuff because I'm in the middle of a project and that's normal. Feng Shui isn't about like living without like having anything out. It's about creating order and organization and noticing when chaos and clutter show up in an area and what is that saying, right? Like I know for me, a lot of times my clutter shows up by the front door and that's where my career area is. So anytime I'm feeling that that clutter is affecting me because our space reflects and imitates life and life imitates and reflects our space. That's the whole concept of feng shui. When we change our space, we help to bring order and alignment with our mind, our heart, our body, and our life, okay? So the first thing with your helpful people area is to look at what's going on there and be like, one, is there clutter? Does it need to be cleaned? So for me, that's really not that cluttered. I mean, I could straighten out this one basket, right? I have done a lot of stuff, right? Ever since I set this up area. And I do try like every couple days to empty the trash can. Not just for feng shui reasons, but for cat reasons, because they'll knock it over and they'll play with the stuff in there. And it's usually just paper, but there is sometimes wire in there, and I don't want my cats to get into that. So I'm very mindful of that. So clutter is not an issue here. The issue that I'm feeling, obviously, is what's being reflected in that painting, which is what? Okay, leave the cat alone. Is that I'm feeling that, yes, I am part of community, but I feel apart. I feel a part and a part of the community. If you catch my drift, a little pun there. So I am feeling the desire to put something different there. So how do I go about doing that? So basically, I'm going to go look and see, what do I have? I would like to actually put another painting up there. I do like things on my wall. So actually, I'm going to go look and see if I can find the other 3 paintings. I know they're somewhere. I know I didn't get rid of them, but it's just a matter of where they are. And see if I have something. If I don't have something, I might buy a diamond painting. Now here, I've done this before where I've bought a diamond painting and I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this, for this area. And then the diamond painting takes a long time to complete. And yeah, then I just then it's frustrating, right? So I don't think that's what I want to do, right? So this is the conversation that I would have with my client. I would be like, okay, what can we put there? So as I'm pretending to be my own client, I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could Photoshop something or whatever, like create a collage. I could get some magazines and create like a vision board. That doesn't feel good to me. I think most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to wander around my house and see, what do I have? Because a lot of times I do find that we already have. The other thing that I will do is I will be on the lookout. So next time I'm on Amazon, I'm in a store, I'm going to keep an eye out for that image. And usually I love to go to like thrift stores and Goodwill and places like that and like find unique things. So here's a little like Feng Shui knowledge. So Feng Shui doesn't really like old things, which is ironic because Feng Shui is, I don't even know how many thousand years old practice. Everything that you buy that is secondhand obviously has what we call predecessor energy. It means that it has the vibration of that person that owned it before you, or people that owned it before you. Like some people would never buy a secondhand wedding ring, right? Or engagement ring or piece of jewelry, right? And I agree and I disagree. We don't know the origin of it. We don't know the obviously, especially with a ring, obviously it's in that store for a reason. Like it could be that they got divorced. It could be that the engagement got broken off. It could be that the people died. It could be that they had a long, 80-year marriage and it was, beautiful and wonderful, but we don't know this, right? Although you can, if you are sensitive to energy. It's called psychometry, where you can hold an object or touch an object and you can feel the energy. Some people have images, which is part of clairvoyance. Some people will just know, claircognizance, right? And that has happened to me, right? And if you want to learn more about that, I still have 4 spots in the Inner Knowing program. This is my 9-week mentorship program where we actually go through your astrology and human design. Hi, thank you. And also we go into each of them. Week 3 is clairvoyance. We talk about what actually is clairvoyance and how it shows up. I do a demo and then you get to partner up in breakout rooms and experiment. So this is not about teaching you how to be these things. You already have these psychic abilities. We're just looking to see which ones are yours and give you a safe space to practice. Okay. So if that interests you, it's $397. Payment plans are available and it starts next Saturday. So the date and time has moved because I had a conflict. It's also available one-on-one. If that interests you, let me know. Okay. Anyway, so psychometry, right? So it's up to you whether you feel comfortable. Like the desk that I'm on, I bought this on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. It's one of those, it's kind of like those hospital desks where or hospital things where it can go, under the bed and so that I can use it while I'm sitting in the bed. It's adjustable. It's got, 2 shelves there that I have my beads. This piece up here, actually, props up. I actually have it backwards. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace for $20. Okay. and I wiped it down with rubbing alcohol, and I saged it. And I don't feel like there's any negative energy to it. Okay. Actually, I love it. I wish I could find one for my son. Same price. Like, that would be amazing, right? So it's up to you. I find that, like, when we learn about something, okay, we really want to learn the concepts, learn the foundations, whether it's feng shui, whether it's human design, astrology, or whatever, and then take what resonates, okay? Now, feng shui does have a structure to it. There's a lot of working pieces. It's not just about putting stuff in your helpful people area. It's about how is the energy coming into the property? How is the energy, the chi, coming into the home? That's a big thing. Balancing the elements. The helpful people area is a metal element, so having metal here is important. Wood, not so much, because wood dulls the metal. Think of like an axe cutting a tree. It's dulling the axe as it cuts the wood. And I don't have a lot of wood. I just have the top of this, which I don't even know if it's real wood. But anyway, a lot of stuff here is metal. And it doesn't mean that you have to put metal. It's about balancing the elements, right? But like, I have wire here. I have metal, sterling silver beads. I have all my tools are obviously metal. So there's a lot of metal here. I have my light that's metal. I also have fire because I have a light. So fire is the element. Anything electric is fire element. I have my laptop. Okay. So there is some fire element, and fire melts metal. So that's something to bear in mind. It doesn't mean that we don't put anything there. Okay. This is my desk. I need my laptop here. Okay. I need this light here. Okay. It's, if you can see it, but it is, it's got a magnifying glass here, right? See? And then it's got the little ring light, and it's USB, and it clamps on here, and it's adjustable. I mean, like, this is the coolest thing. Like $15-20 on Amazon. I had another one that was like, you know, like an actual lamp that was the same thing, where you can open the top and use it. And unfortunately it fell and it broke. And then I found this and I just love it. Okay. So I need to have light. I need to have my laptop here. So feng shui isn't about like, we can't have that. We can't do that. It's how do we balance it? And there's so much metal here. I do have this. Oh, you can see it. I'm going to turn my camera around again. So that's the light that I was just talking about. Okay. And it does clamp on here. It's got a USB. I've got a purple power strip down there. If you can't see it, it's got USB, USB-C, and plugs. Just love it, right? I plug everything into that. So this is an organizer here. It's a desk organizer, right? And it's got a drawer with compartments. It's got stuff in it. These are my tarot and oracle cards that I use. I've got some jewelry here, measuring tape, you know, things like that. It's got these baskets, right, that I put, you know, my things in. So there is metal here. There's a lot of metal here, obviously. Okay. Glass is water element. Water element is, you know, it's okay to have. I mean, water rusts metal. So like, you don't want to have a lot, but I use this for certain projects, right? Like when I'm soldering, I use this, old cutting board, right? I've got wood here. This is a wooden basket. This is all my made jewelry, right? So wood, like I said, like breaks, like is wears down metal, but there's only a little bit, right? This is the clutter I was talking about. It's actually not really clutter, right? There's a pile of baskets there. This stuff was just thrown on here. It's actually not as cluttered as it seems. So we just straighten this stuff out, and there you go. And I put my witch hat up there because sometimes I wear it. So, but again, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. The only thing that I want to fix is that. And also, again, blue is the color of water. So that's water element. Blue and black are water element. That's the life purpose career area we talked about last week. So the color isn't actually is an issue as well, right? Because it's bringing in water element. So really what we want to bring in here is either, earth would be browns and greens because metal comes from the earth, or silvers, golds, pastels, white, which represents the metal element. So that's my project, okay? And I have been doing stuff. I did some stuff in the identity thing area. I redid my prosperity altar. I haven't done anything yet with my life purpose area. I did put that diamond painting of the Aquarius, the symbol of Aquarius, the waters flowing of Aquarius, which is my zodiac sign, back up. I did not set an intention. I want to think really clearly about that and do one of those Chinese red envelopes and put my intention into a Chinese red envelope. And one of these days, on one of these lives, I'll remember to grab one and show you. But if you just go on Amazon and you Google, red Chinese lucky red envelope, Feng Shui envelope, they'll come right up. It's not complicated. It's not hard to find. The other thing I'll mention, because it came up in a client session yesterday, is when I was going through my second divorce, money was tight. My ex was paying certain bills, but I was on my own, a single mom, right? And there was only so many hours I could work and childcare and all that stuff. And I was having a hard time paying the rent. And so what I did was I started paying my rent with Chinese red envelopes. So I would put the rent check into the Chinese red envelope, and then I would go to Staples and buy legal size, right? The long ones, right? But legal size red envelopes. They do. In the stationery section, they have like every color imaginable. They have like this deep red. And I think it's a pack of 10 for like, $5 or $6. This was many years ago. I pay my rent now online, so I don't have to worry about that. And I would put the Chinese red envelope with the check into the regular envelope, and I would, drop it off to my landlord. And every time I would drop it off to my landlord, just put it in her mailbox, I would say thank you. So these are little feng shui practices that you can bring into your world right now that will make a huge difference. When we are grateful towards the bills that we pay, our energy shifts and more money comes. When we're resentful and we're like, then the money tends to kind of like bunch up. Okay. And if you're noticing that, I know that's not the area we're talking about today, but it just bared repeating because I talked about this yesterday. So if you're finding that like certain bills can be challenging for you to pay, it's like, oh, you have money for everything, but that one bill feels challenging, do a little bit of gratitude. Okay. Find something to be grateful for. Okay. I know with my old landlord, we were there. I think I was there, 2 different husbands, for, I think it was 11 years. And like, I put over $100,000 in her pocket. And of course that I had not resentment towards her, but that could have been like half a house or a third of a house. All right. So, but it is what it is. Like, that's where I needed to be at that time. Right. So we have to find the silver lining sometimes in order to just, move through. Okay. And to create greater prosperity. So, if I was looking to do travel in this area, I could do a map. This is a great idea. So one of the things that I would love to do is to have a home in Greece. So I could put something that reminds me of Greece. I could put a small Greek flag. I can put, I could look in my jewelry box and see if I have any jewelry from Greece that I can put there. And again, it doesn't have to be obvious. Your feng shui placements and cures should not be obvious. If I can walk into your home and see red ribbons, crystals, like things that just look like feng shui or seem out of place with the decor of your home, that's not good feng shui. Sorry, not sorry. Your home should look like your home. If your home's Victorian, there should not be all red ribbons all over the place for feng shui. There's a couple things that we do red ribbons for that it is what it is, like something called fighting doors. When 2 doors open and hit each other, then we use a red ribbon to cure that because there's nothing else you can do. Like if you can't remove one of the doors or whatever, then we do stuff like that. But I should not be able to walk into your home and see, look like a feng shui store threw up in it. Okay. you want the things that you pick to be things that you love that are for you. If you want to use Chinese red envelopes, we put them behind paintings. We put them underneath things. If you want, here's another one that I recommended to a client yesterday, was if you have certain dreams that feel out of reach, they feel like every time you go for those dreams and like something happens, right? Like the sewer backs up and now you have to pay all this money to get your septic taken care of, or your partner loses their job, or you get divorced, or whatever. What you can do is you can take a nice piece of paper, and I do recommend that the more thought and care that you put into your feng shui cures and placements, the more successful they're going to be. Like, I like mulberry paper, again, Amazon or Staples has mulberry paper. It's like a pack of, like, you know, I wish I had some to show you, but I don't have any in here. So next week I'll have some of my supplies to show you. But it's basically handmade paper, but it doesn't have to be handmade paper. It could be a nice piece of cardstock, or I mean, if you want to make your own paper, you can make your own paper, right? Like, just a nice piece of paper. And write down 5 things. 5 is a number of change. It is a number of the crossroads, right? So you can write down 5 dreams, long held dreams. And I don't want you to censor yourself. I don't want you to be like, so here's an example. So let's say here at 50 years old, I'm like, I want to be a ballerina. Now, a lot of people be like, oh, Peter, you're not the right age, you're not the right weight, you're not the right size, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but there's something, and I'm not saying that's my dream. I'm just saying I want to pick something that feels really unattainable. There's a reason why you have that dream. Okay, so I'm actually going to share one personal with you. And I'm a very private person. You might not know that because I talk a lot, but I'm a very private person. I've always thought about being like a lounge singer, like a Peggy Lee, You Give Me Fever song kind of thing, like in a smoky, like little bar, or actually nowadays with my germophobia, an outdoor venue, right? To be like outdoors. And one of my dreams is to live in Greece, either full-time or part-time, and sing, on the beach at one of these seaside tavernas, these seaside restaurants, right? They have tables on the beach. They'll have like a little platform and they'll have a band and a singer. I would love to do that, right? But, you know, when I was in elementary school, I was told I was tone deaf and that I can't sing. And I was going through a lot of like personal shit, a lot of abuse at home. And when you don't feel like you're feeling safe at home and you're feeling hurt at home, that will transfer into your voice. Like, I know for me, the more that I own my voice and I speak up for myself and I say no and yes to things appropriately, the deeper my voice is. Okay, so my voice has changed over the years, right? And I know that I feel like I sound more on key when I sing Greek than I do in English, because nobody told me that my Greek singing voice sucked. So anyway, this is one of my dreams, okay? And, you know, I could go into the whole story of like why, I mean, I love music. I'm an Aquarius. Like, we just, like, there's a soundtrack in our head playing all the time almost. And like, you know, of course movies have soundtracks because life has a soundtrack. Every moment has a soundtrack, right? If you tune into it. But anyway, I just love music. And I love the feeling. Like, I can change my mood, but based upon the song, right? And all of us can do that, okay? So that's something that like feels, if like, as I talk about it, I'm like, well, of course I could do that, right? Like, of course I could do that. But it feels like a lot to me between my germophobia and like the fact that I wanted to be in Greece. I mean, although I could do it here, right? Like, that just stepping out of my comfort zone and saying, I want this, and actually taking the action steps. So this is a dream that can be put on the 5 list. So basically, again, you're going to take your piece of paper, nice piece of paper as you can. It could be a piece of cardstock. It could be mulberry paper. It could be nice craft paper, whatever, right? the nicer the better. You're going to write your 5 things, and you don't have to write one and the thing. Skip the numbers, just write the things. And you can make like little, I would definitely like differentiate them, and you can use like a hyphen, or you can create your own little emojis. If you've got some rubber stamps, pull them out, bring that inner child to play. You can give each one a symbol. I think that would be phenomenal. And then I would, this is what I mean. This is where I'm in my element. So the list is something that I give to people. This is where like I'm changing it. This is like literally inspiration coming in right now, live and uncut. So this is what I'm getting, or I recommend that you do, and I'm going to do it too. Give each one of those a symbol. Okay. So I do want a new partner. Okay. So I would give that a heart, obviously. Right? If there's a money goal, you can give it a $sign, or the symbol for the euro, or you could do a coin, or you can do a shamrock or a 4-leaf clover, or whatever you want that to represent. And then I invite you to take those little symbols and either draw one, or like whatever, somehow you just take a little piece of paper and draw that symbol and hide it in that area. So the love partner would be in relationship, which is the back right-hand corner. Prosperity is the back left-hand corner, that sort of thing. So give them a little emoji, create your own little emoji for your 5 things, okay? And then take that piece of paper and put it in a red envelope. Yes. And here's the thing with the red envelopes, because I had a client who, I used to do some feng shui things for her. I used to make feng shui things for her and give her feng shui placements and cures. And I do have a selection of rituals. If there's something you're looking for, they start at $9. So if there's something that you are looking for and you'd like a feng shui ritual or cure or placement, you can always contact me, and I will either find one, because I have a whole selection of them. I have a little, it's like a little index card holder, like a recipe box. And actually that has a globe on it. I found it on like a thrift store or something a long time ago. Maybe I'll put that in my area over here. It used to be here, but it used to like get knocked over. But anyway, so you're going to put it in a red envelope. So if you don't want to go to Staples, if you don't want to order from Amazon, get a piece of construction paper and make a freaking envelope. Like literally fold it in thirds, glue the bottom, like the bottom third to the middle, right? And that makes your little pocket, and then you have the top as your flap. Simple. And you can always like Pinterest, and they have like fancier ways to make an envelope, but literally that's all you need to do. Or you can get a white piece of paper and paint it or color it or crayon it red. Like seriously, don't overthink this, right? You might have an envelope from Christmas, a red envelope from Christmas or Valentine's. Those are great times to get red envelopes, because you can find them very, very easily, okay? If you can get a Chinese red envelope, they're not that expensive. They're like, and actually if you have a Asian store around, whether it's like, I know there's one here on Main Street in Danbury, and they sell like all sorts of things. They sell clothes and cleaning supplies and plates and all sorts of stuff. If you go to the register and ask for a lucky envelope, they have a beautiful selection behind the counter, and they're in plastic sleeves, and they're like gorgeous, okay? And sometimes they're gold colored, and they have like beautiful characters on them, Chinese characters. They have like figures on them and stuff like that. And lately what I've noticed on Amazon is a lot of companies make different ones for different years. So last year was the year of the snake. I have a whole bunch that have the snake on them. This year, the year of the horse. So you can get ones with the horse. You can do this as simple or as elaborate as you want. So you're going to take your list with your little emojis on it. You're going to put it in your red envelope. And then you're going to lay down on your bed and figure out where your heart chakra is, where your heart is. Okay? Just the ballpark. Don't overthink it. You don't have to get out a ruler or protractor. We don't do any of that in Chinese, in Feng Shui. Okay? We don't. Even when you give me your floor map, I'd rather you not use a ruler. I want to see your perspective raw and uncut. So you're going to figure out where your heart is when you lie down on your bed, and then you're going to place that red envelope in between your mattress and your box spring. And if you don't have a box spring because you have a platform bed or whatever, you're going to put it underneath the mattress. Okay. And you're just going to leave it there. You can leave it there for 9 days, 27 days. You can just leave it there permanently. You can like leave it there until all those things manifest. And then what you want to do is be open to the synchronicities. Okay. So for me, with this dream of being a lounge singer, I would notice, do I see an ad in the paper? Do I see something on Facebook where it's like, oh, we're looking for a singer, right? Voice lessons, anything that has to do with anything that would lead me towards that dream are things that I need to consider. And I say consider because you also want to tune into your own intuition, because you don't want to just go to everything. Okay, not everything is aligned. You want to tune into your intuition. And again, I'm a little pitchier. My inner knowing mentorship is what this is for, to understand how your intuition speaks to you, because your intuition speaks to you through the clairs. It does. You're either know something claircognizant that you wouldn't normally know. That's like when you sense that your child's in danger, that's claircognizance. Okay. Clairvoyance, you see images. If you have dreams that come true, that's part of clairvoyance. Okay. Clairaudience is hearing things, and it's not just hearing voices that don't exist. It's a lot more than that. And we're going to talk about that. Every week, we're going to have a topic that a clair that we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about mediumship, animal communication. We're going to talk about psychometry and telekinesis and clairalience and clairgustafson. That's smell and taste. We're going to do just a short 1 week. We're going to do a lot of the lesser known ones because most people haven't experienced that and they're not very common. But I'll give you some tips on to tune those in, and we'll play with them. I have had smell only with my mom. After she passed away, I would smell her fragrance. She used to wear this fragrance from the 80s called Charlie, and I would smell it. And it was just like this, it was such a short and like fleeting moment that I was just like, did that just happen? Did I just smell that? And then I went to a medium because I wanted to connect with her because she wasn't connecting with me. And that was her, right? Claire Gustafson is taste. I've had that with 2 clients. The second one, I don't remember. But the first one, she asked me about her soulmate, and I literally tasted lemons in my mouth. And she's like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know. It's just, you'll know the lemons will be the clue, right? Like maybe his last name is Lemon. Maybe he's a used car salesman. Maybe he drinks Corona with lemon. I don't know. But there's something to do with lemons. Like that's your clue, right? So, and unfortunately, she used to come to me at this metaphysical shop here in Danbury that closed many years ago. So I don't know what happened. If you're watching, let me know, because inquiring minds want to know. So what else? So the Inner Knowing program is $397 for 9 weeks. We start next Saturday. It's gonna be every Saturday for 9 weeks. You'll also get side quests. You'll get your human design chart, your astrology chart. Those are the first 2 weeks where we look at your astrology and your human design to see what your natural inclination is. There's certain gates in human design that are associated with clairvoyance, clairaudience, etc. And then in astrology, your big 3, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, those will give you a clue as to how your intuition speaks to you, what clairs that you have. And then we'll practice. You'll get some side quests. You'll have a workbook where you can track stuff and, figure out things and stuff like that. And then the last week we'll talk about boundaries, protection, all those things. Okay. Because those things are really important as well. So if you're interested in that, message me and let's get you signed up. If you sign up today, whether it's payment plan or pay in full, you get a free one-on-one session with me. So if this is something that's speaking to you, hop on it. Okay. The other thing is every week I offer one, it's called the Reclaim and Reset session. This is a 90-minute Zoom Feng Shui and Chinese astrology session where we focus on one area of your life that feels stuck. And we're not just going to do one gua. This is what I talked about earlier. What is a goal or a heart's desire or wish that you have been like working on for so long, and it feels like one step forward, two steps back, and it just always feels out of reach? We're going to delve into that, see what your your Feng Shui is saying, see how your Chinese zodiac aligns with the year of the fire horse. And then I will give you placements to do in your master bedroom. If it's business, we'll do it in your home office if you have a home office. If it's both, like mine, then obviously same thing. So that you can move forward in that area. And sometimes it's clarity. Like sometimes we don't know what we want. And sometimes we need someone like me to talk about it and to ask the right questions so that you can kind of move in the right direction. It's not always about figuring it out, but sometimes when we get more specific, it's easier to recognize. Just like that dream of being a lounge singer, it's not a lounge singer. It's literally like singing Greek music in a seaside cafe or bar or restaurant on the coast of Greece. So that's specificity. It's not, and sometimes it takes time to get to that. Okay. So be patient and compassionate with yourself. The, Reclaim and Reset session is $333. It is a 90-minute session on Zoom. You'll get the recording. And also what I do is as we're on the call, I will be taking notes in a Google Doc, which I will send that to you at the end. So I'll take notes about what we're talking about and also the cures and placements that I'm recommending. If there's any rituals that I recommend, the 3 secret reinforcement ritual, which is how we place anything that we do in Feng Shui, you'll definitely get that. That's $9 if you want that by itself. It will increase the speed and the efficiency of any intention that you set 130%. And I also have some tips on how to use that in your daily life. You can use it with your coffee. You can use it with your meditation. You can use it with your money bowl. You can do, if you're pagan, you can use it. There's no limit to what you can do with it. I love playing with the 3 secret reinforcements. I actually did it this morning as I set an intention for my day. So that's available as well. That's a PDF and a video so that you actually see me doing it, so there's no confusion, because sometimes things get lost in translation. What else? I think that's it. I encourage you to, I invite you to go look at that area of your life. Okay? Look at your community, your helpful people, so friends, colleagues, collaborators, referrals, your audience, the people that are supposed to be supporting you. And is that area actually the way that you want it to be? I call it my sacred support circle. So sometimes giving it a name helps. Okay. And I'm seeing that there are certain people and groups that I feel really supportive and I feel really safe in, and then there's others that I don't. And so I'm shifting my behavior. Feng Shui isn't just about putting something on the wall and then set it and forget it, although it is an inspiration point. It's an anchor. It's a visual reminder of your intention. Okay. So it is important. Don't get me wrong. Feng Shui is very important and it can create huge shifts, but it's to make shifts at the spiritual, mental, and emotional level so that we can actually take action. So what I'm doing in my personal life is literally not engaging with certain people that I don't feel are supportive to me. I don't feel respected. I don't feel valued, whatever that is, right? And sometimes those are hard choices to make, right? And Feng Shui can help. So look at that area of your life. Also look at travel, if travel is something that you want to do. And it doesn't have to be travel as in like, 9 countries in 90 days or anything like that. It could be going to those places that you want to go to. It could be day trips. It could be weekend trips. It could be anything. So look at that area of your life. Where is there, what do you want to change? What is there? What do you want to change? And then go look at that space in your home. Again, it is the front right area, right corner of the space, right? So the property, the home, and the master bedroom. And if it's in business, obviously the home office or wherever your office is, right? And what's there? It's the metal element. If you've got a lot of wood there, if you got a lot of water there, if you got a lot of fire there, that's something that needs to be balanced. And that's something that someone like me, a certified Feng Shui practitioner can help you with, because it is, you know, it is a process, and it is an art to Feng Shui, right? But also look there. Is there a painting there that's like a turbulent sea? And then you wonder why relationships are not really working out for you. It's not your fault. You didn't know, but now that's something you can change. Like I showed you the painting that I have in my Helpful People. And I'm like, I love it, but I don't. I love it, but I don't. So it's time now that it's really bothering me and I'm seeing how it is showing up in my world that I want to change it. Okay. And so again, we don't go tearing everything down. We don't go like just remodeling everything. We pick one or two things, sometimes three, that we need to shift. Okay. So for me, literally, it's just that one thing. Okay. It's just that one thing that I want to change. And so I'm going to look at my space and I'm going to look around and be like, where do I have another picture or something that I can hang up there that actually embodies the feeling that I want when it comes to community in my world. Okay. And now that I'm thinking about it, I do want to put something there that represents Greece, because I do have I do have a property in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the mountains in the Peloponnese Peninsula that I inherited from my grandmother. And I don't want to go live there because it's like in the middle of nowhere. There's more freaking cows and sheep than there are people. But I do want to have a connection to Greece and, you know, at the very least have a beach home there, okay? Or some sort of property that me and my children can go and have vacation, right? So I'm going to put that there. That's travel. This is a good place for relocation. If you want to relocate, the Helpful People and Travel is the area that you can activate in order to relocate, right? So putting something there, like I could put a Greek flag there. I can put something that I have from Greece. I can put, you know, an actual map of Greece, right? I could put the word Greece. And again, you don't want it to look out of place. Like again, it is this balance of making it look like your home. So your home doesn't look like a freaking, you know, like a vision board where you've cut out little pieces out of magazine and just glued them all over your walls. Like, so let's say I find the piece that I want. I can actually put, like get a map of Greece or even write the word Greece on the back. So it doesn't have to be seen. This is about you. This is about you and your subconscious seeing this every single day and being like, oh yeah, this is the goal that we're working towards, right? It's a little bit more than that. But so not all your placements and cures need to be seen. Okay. Obviously for this, because I'm replacing a picture that was already there, that's going to be seen. And I wanted that picture to represent the community and the support, the sacred support circle that I'm looking to create and be part of. So obviously that's important. The Greece piece could be that I give it a blue border. Like if you've ever seen the Greek key, like it's a decorative element in things, I could do that. Right? Like I could put it in a frame and do that, right? Or I could give it a blue border. Okay. The colors of Greece are white and blue, right? So I can do that. It needs to be symbolic to me. Someone looking at it is just seeing a pretty picture. Okay. They don't need to know what it's about. And again, I could write stuff on the back. And actually that's where you can take your red envelope or just even a nice piece of paper and write your intentions and tape it to the back of it. Okay. You don't want people to see these. And you also don't want people touching your Feng Shui placements. And if you're the person who likes to go into a person's home and pick up shit, stop. That's their stuff. That's their energy. So even when I do tarot readings, obviously I'm a germaphobe. So I don't do public readings anymore as far as like in-person stuff. But I don't like people touching my cards. I used to when I first started because that's what we're taught, but I don't need somebody's energy on my cards in order to do a reading. Okay. That's a myth. In the beginning, you might feel like you need that, but you don't really need that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Obviously, first and foremost, declutter and clean. Okay. I do. I'm looking at this trash can and I'm like, okay, it's time to clean it out. And I do, like, I probably empty my trash can like 2 to 3 times a week. especially if I'm working on jewelry and like little pieces of wire like that. At the end of that session, I will always dump it out because I have cats. Obviously, you don't have to do that if you normally, don't have kids, if it's in your home office, but also keeping that clean, right? Like my actual physical trash can is in the, let me think, relationship corner of my home. So like when that feels like, and right now I'm not in a relationship, but when that starts to overflow and there's too much in it, I can feel it and I see it and it bothers me and I empty it. So sometimes it's all those little mundane things that you do, keeping the place organized, the space organized, decluttering, cleaning, that will help, right? And then also figuring out what is it that you want. And if you don't know what you want, like the life purpose area when we talked last week, you can book a Feng Shui consultation. You can do with me. You can do some journaling. So I'm going to give you a little exercise and then I'm out. So this is an exercise that it's a modification of something that it might actually be exactly what Mike Dooley does. If you're not familiar with Mike Dooley, go look him up. He's amazing. Another fellow Aquarius, tut.com. But it's literally writing that reality. Every single day you get up and you do like 5 minutes, let's say, or one sheet. With my clients, I always say one piece of paper, front and back. And what you're going to write is a version. Okay. So maybe it's for the helpful people is like, so right now I have a Facebook group that's not a lot of engagement. So let's say that's what I want to focus on today. So I would write like, oh my God, I tried this experiment, and you don't have to be specific because again, you're not sure what you're going to do in that area. I tried this experiment of posting these certain things in this certain way, and all of a sudden the Goddess Life Facebook group, it is like, there's so much engagement. There's so many people coming out of the woodwork. They're like engaging all the time. People are reaching out to me for sessions. People are reaching out to be collaborators because I do in my Facebook group, I have space that I have Christina that comes in on Monday and shares her beautiful crystals. And so I do have spots like that available. So I would write this stuff, right? And then I would crumble it up and throw it away. The next day I might talk about my personal friends, right? Right? Or I might talk about my Facebook community, or I might talk about people referring clients to me. Like every single client is like, oh my God, every week I'm getting more and more referrals, right? So every time you're writing a different version of reality. And it does a lot of things. One, it helps you think along the positive lines. It inspires you. Two, it helps you like think about what is it you really want. Like as you try on, it's kind of like trying on clothes. Like you go to buy an outfit and like you see a lot of options and you're like, well, I got to see it on. And this is a way for you to try it on, because as you're writing it, you're getting into the details. You're getting excited about it. You're like, ooh, that does like sound good. Or maybe it doesn't sound good. And you're like, okay, well, yeah, definitely don't want that. So that's a great way to start to explore. And I would do this for 9 days. In Feng Shui, the number 9 is very significant. Okay, it is the harvest. It is prosperity. It is change. It's a really significant number. We always do things in 9s. Pricing is done in 9s. That's why my offer for a Feng Shui session is 333, because that totals up to 9. My Feng Shui placements and cures are $9, $18, 18 because it adds up to 9, those sorts of things, right? So there's a huge significance there, all right? And even if you do the paper under your bed, the dreams, I would leave it there for 9 days, 27 days, the longer the better. You could just leave it there indefinitely if you want. You could be moving 9 years from now and find it and be like, oh my God, I accomplished all these things, right? So do that for 9 days. And if you find that you haven't gotten clarity, do it for another 9 days. So sometimes we have a lot of limiting beliefs. Sometimes some people stop dreaming and just believe that life is what it is. This is the day it's like Groundhog Day. I'm going to live this day over and over again. And sometimes it takes time to break out of that habit, right? So sitting and doing a little bit of journaling will help. You can light a candle, you can burn some incense, you can have your coffee, you can put on some music. There's actually this whole thing with Baroque music. Baroque. It's a style of classical music that activates a certain part of your brain. I'm not going to go all into it because I don't remember all of it anyway, but you can do that. You can have like chanting in the background, whatever you want, whatever helps. You can go, I had a client I recommended this to many years ago, and she would go out on her back patio and have her coffee and do her journaling and listen to the birds and smell the flowers. And she was like, it was an amazing experience. She's like, I don't want to stop doing it. I'm like, fine, pick another area of your life and do it again. Or who knows where it might lead. It might lead you to start writing a book. It might lead you to, who knows. So, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Feng Shui Live. If you'd like to sign up for the Inner Knowing Pro mentorship, please message me. If you'd like to sign up for a reclaim and reset session, a Feng Shui session, please message me. If you'd like one of these rituals, like I said, I have rituals for everything, for every area, for every situation, to get pregnant, to get married, to get proposed to, for more money, to buy a house, to sell a house, like you name it, I've got it. I've got like literally this little recipe box full of them. And I can definitely share that with you. And again, they start from like $9 and go up to, there's one that's $108. It is the debt and litigation cure. And it is like, I've used that 3 times. Yeah, I had a credit card that was coming after me that I didn't know I had. And I did that cure and it got dismissed. And, found out later on that it was an online credit card that I had that I totally forgot about, but it got dismissed and I never had to pay. It was $9,000 and I only paid $1,800 to my attorney. So like it works. And then I also used it with both of my divorces and I got what I wanted. So it is the amount that we charge for rituals and cures is relative to the exchange. So that one is $108 and that is very potent. Trust me. Get you out of all kinds of jams. And it's also used for debt, to like get rid of debt. It's really, really powerful ritual. So if that interests you, that speaks to you, message me, let me know, and I will send that PDF over to you. Again, that one's $108. But most of them are between like $9 and $27. And most of them are a PDF. Some of them have a video, if I've made a video, and some of them don't, but I do very like detailed instructions. And I also tell you where to get everything. And also you can always message me later on and be like, Elpida, I need this. And I'll tell you exactly where to find it. Been there, done that. Okay. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this session of Feng Shui Live on helpful people and travel. I hope you're going to go check out your helpful people and travel area and make some changes if you're feeling called to do that. If you're finding that that area of your life is not the way that you wanted to, this is a place where you can make some changes. Okay? All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend and I'll catch you next time. Take care.